Broncos Country! It is draft week! Oh my God. Oh man. We have been waiting so long for this. We have been waiting for months now for there to be something fun and something wonderful that we as Broncos fans can latch onto and we can spend our time obsessing about, which we've done. And now it all comes to fruition in just a couple of days. Oh, we are so excited you are here with us tonight on the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast. Tonight, we are going to build our big board, and we are going to do a 3-round mock draft. We're going to talk all kinds of things Broncos, but we haven't really done a whole lot of mocking this offseason. A lot of people do a lot of them. We're going to have fun doing a 3-round mock draft live here on the show, talking to you about everything and all things Broncos, everything we can talk about, the Nuggets. We're going to hit on everything Colorado sports that's going on right now. It's going to be a great show. We are so geared up and so ready for Thursday, for the draft. Let's go, Orange and Blue crew. This is the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast here on the Orange and Blue Network and on the MHRT Network. Let's freaking go.
Smooth, the pins to chew, breaking down plays about to debut. Denver pride in every view. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Bright lights of my heart in our view. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. From draft picks to game reviews, celebrating wins, analyzing the clues. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. No orange and blue.
Nothing rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast.
Oh, what is up, Broncos Country? And how you doing, Orange and Blue crew? We are so excited to be with you tonight to do a live mock draft, to talk about the big board that we've come up with here on the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast, and to get ready for draft day on Thursday. 2 days away, y'all. Live show. It's going to be a blast. Oh, I'm pumped. Jay, how are you doing?
Well, could be better after last night, the double dipper.
Let's not talk about it.
Double L. But today was a new day full of Broncos draft stuff, and I could distract myself with the horror that is hockey and basketball right now. But we will avenge, and Thursday's right around the corner, man. What an exciting week of Denver sports. Insane.
It's such a time to be a Denver sports fan in general right now. Like it's insane. It feels so good. Oh my God, I'm getting ahead of myself. What's up, guys? This is the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast here on the Orange and Blue Network and on the MHRT Network. I'm Johnny Baki, the Mile High Viking, and with me, as always, my cousin, my childhood best friend, and my co-host, Jay the Dreamweaver Weaver. What's up, cuz?
Not a whole lot, man. Not a whole lot. I'm excited to do this mock drafting, kind of get prepped for Thursday. But I'll tell you what, if we, all these months talking about the first round, if we trade out of the first round and we don't have a pick on Thursday night, it's going to be equally as big of a boner killer as Landeskog warming up and not starting.
Oh, God. Well, we don't want to talk about boner killers, so before we get into the boner killer stuff, why don't we at least hype up our fans a little bit, guys? Thank you for joining us. If this is your first time watching, or you haven't yet, please like, subscribe, share, comment on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Check out the audio version of our podcast on all your favorite platforms. Also, we are partnered with the MHRT Network, so we ask you to please show them some love too. Jump on over like, subscribe, share, and comment on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, even on Instagram. We'd appreciate it, guys. And before we even get going and do any more, we got to plug the sponsor of tonight's show, and that is Dubby Jitterless Energy Blend. You can see the link in the bio beneath. Dubby is amazing stuff. Comes in so many good flavors, really good flavors. It tastes great. It has the caffeine that you need to give you the kick in the pants that you need to start your day and to get through your day without the jitters or the crash later. Because the caffeine in Dubby, it's 2 cups of coffee worth of caffeine in every cup of Dubby, and it's derived directly from the coffee plant. However, it has no sugar. Oops, there we go. No sugar, no calories, no maltodextrin or fillers or artificial colors. It is natural. It is nothing but amino acids, B vitamins, and nootropics that keep you sharp as you go throughout your day so you don't get the jitters or the crash later. Guys, I'm telling you, click that link, jump on over to Dubby, get yourself a dub. This stuff is awesome. Get you through your day. They got some cool limited edition anime-based anime-inspired flavors there. Haven't tried them yet, but they look pretty good. Guys, I'm telling you, this is how you get yourself a dub. But Jay and I are going to make that dub even sweeter because when you go to checkout, you're going to punch in the code NRWOB10. That's NRWOB10. That'll get you 10% off your order at the checkout. So, guys, check out Dubby. I promise you will not regret it. All right, Jay. Oh man, we've been saying it. We've said it already. What a time to be a Denver sports fan right now. I mean, like you said, the double dipping on two nights this week already, starting Saturday and then yesterday. 2 days with we had playoff hockey and playoff basketball on the same night twice this week, and it was exciting and at the same time heartbreaking in some respects. So, how are you feeling about what we're going through in Denver right now?
I think it is. I'm sure towards the end of this, we'll have a platform, a soapbox here for Nuggets and Avalanche talk, but I couldn't be more excited to be a Denver sports fan because we're going into the first round of the draft here, not needing a quarterback. And there is, maybe it's smokescreen or not, but we've got the hype of the outlets talking about us and talking about how, watch out for Denver. They could trade up. They're going to be a wild card. Like, things are a brewing. So it's exciting that we have hockey and basketball to focus in on, but the draft being this week and having, us being a highlighted team at 20 of all places, we're not a top 10 pick, we shouldn't be highlighted as much as we are, but a lot of people are taking notice of our off season, and if
they should be.
Yeah, if we've already made the splashes we have in free agency, that's a win now mode kind of free agency, and this might be a win now draft, which is why we're going to potentially. So,
yes,
exciting, man.
Yeah, it's very exciting. I've been having so much fun, just delving into the draft, doing video, checking out film on players and reading up on their strengths and their weaknesses and the different scouts. So to speak, different scout media's take on certain guys, and it's been a blast. And then on top of it, I get to end my day the last several times this week, sitting down to watch the Nuggets game, then the Avalanche game, and then last night I got to watch them at the same time. God bless, they don't sponsor us, but God bless YouTube TV because I get to do that multi-view where I have the Nuggets on the left and the Avalanche on the right, and I just switch between the audio as I need to. And I can see them both. It's awesome. But, man, it's just been, what a time. What a time to be a Denver sports fan. And we'll get more into that. But, guys, we already have several of our good friends in the chat. We can't let them hang. We got D-Rock in the house saying we cannot trade up. I would understand if it was a QB.
Here.
Hold the line at 20. Yeah. Listen, if they do it, they do it. But I'm still absolutely. I think I'm just like you, Jay. I want to stay put or I want to go backwards a little bit and get some more picks and get our guy there. I think Ashton Genty's special, but I don't know that he is so special as to warrant giving up the capital it will take to move that far up to get
it. I mean, that would be the ultimate push your chips into the middle move of, like I alluded to, of like free agency kind of showed that like, like we think we're contenders now. There's no more development. Yeah. Like these are free agents that literally move the needle day one. And Genty would be a day one needle mover. It's not a developmental person that
you'd expect him to be
at 20. Yeah.
You would expect him to be.
It's an instant upgrade. It's an instant starter. It's an instant star. And that's the argument for. But there's plenty of arguments against. And, once we get into our boards and we get into some mocking here, I want to throw some scenarios at you about what players we would be targeting if it's not Genty in the first round. If we're
I can't see any reason to move up for anybody other than him.
There's some other people you could make arguments for, and it's not like maybe moving up to top 5 pick or something like that. That's Genty or bust. But like there's others that maybe you move up to 9. Maybe you move up to, 8, 7. I don't know. There's other scenarios that might be for a different player that we'll talk about in the coming year. Maybe.
And I'm sure we'll get more into it, but I just don't see there being that many holes to fill right now. Like right now, to justify that move. You know what I'm saying? Genty would be it. Fill that running back hole. That greatest weakness on our team. Fill that makes sense. But to me, like we still have a center who was, maybe not the best, but he was best. He was second best in the pass rush. And and we had the number 1 offensive line in the NFL with him. So, I'd be cool to stand pat there. Don't need to move up to 9 to go get a center or even an offensive tackle. Like I understand that we might have 4 years left with both of our offensive tackles. So you got to look to the future. But when you're moving up in the draft, especially in the first round, when you're moving up to the top 10 or the top 15, that's for someone you expect to come in and be a difference maker tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we really have those holes that except for running back. That kind of move. So,
you're right. You're not wrong. You don't draft for depth in a top 10 first round. No, that's not how that works.
You absolutely don't. First round is about guys that can make a difference on your team today. At rounds 2, 3, the other premium rounds, those are guys that might make a difference today, but that could be good dudes, towards your future. And then 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, those are developmental players. Those are guys that you hope turn into the future. So we'll see how it goes. Back to the comments we go. We got Shy Vargas in the house. He's asking us all kinds of questions about W. He asks, how is it? Dude, Shy, I'm telling you, Jay and I both swear by it. You can and D-Rock in the comments even said it tastes great and it is like a rocket ship in powder form.
Yeah, I don't know though, Johnny. Shy's already, he's high motor, high tech here. So like, do you need an energy drink, Shy? Okay, hey, you might need to call the police if that's the case.
Hey, we don't know what Shy's like on Monday morning, okay? Like
that's true. We're normal to pre-game, right before the game, which we're all a little jazzed at that point. That's true. Shy could be just a regular boring accountant on Tuesdays.
Bonkers Broncos, a good friend popping and saying the NFL draft stuff is totally bonkers and sometimes weird. Yeah, I mean, it's a crazy time, man. It's a crazy time. Mm-hmm. But the draft is one of our favorite times a year. I love the draft so much. It's almost as exciting to me as the first game of the season. I love the draft.
A lot of mysteries.
We got Blitzby repping in the house. Johnny and Weaver in the building. Hey! Can we say 2 more days till the draft? Just 2, baby!
So excited.
Woo! We got Bonker saying Buffs fanboys want to trade up for Travis Hunter.
Oh, no, my God.
I wish.
That would instantly become my favorite Bronco, and I'm sorry, even probably more so than Bo. Like Travis Hunter.
Whoa, Jay. Whoa, slow your roll.
Okay, well, let's think about this, people. Travis is a generational talent. He is by far, Johnny, I don't know how your big board's going to go, but I've done I didn't make my own big board, but I looked at other people's big boards, and it's pretty much unanimous. Number one is Travis. Travis is by far the best talent to this entire draft class. Leaps and bounds.
He's special. Listen, he's absolutely special. If they do it, they'd be selling their soul to the devil to get it. And
sign me up.
Yeah, okay, fine. I'll see you in hell. But the point is, like the amount to move up that to the first overall pick from 20, dude, we might not even draft another player this draft. Yeah. Like you're literally mortgaging your entire future on that, man. Like that's
Blitz says screw them picks, F them kids, grab a stud now, go the LA Rams route where like who cares about the future? Let's go. And
I thought you said go, Bo, go.
For the record, there is a scenario out there. It is not a totally dumb thing to think about. If we're gonna think about trading up into the top 5 or whatever place that we're talking about trying to get up over the Raiders at 6, Travis could drop. Quarterbacks, you never know. Cleveland could go Shador, and all this is crap, or the Giants could go Shador. And, things could be pushed down. You just never know. You never know. This draft is going to be crazy. There's going to be a lot of mysteries in this draft. Who knows?
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah. We got Joe. We got Joe back. Joe's back in the house. Hasn't been in a while. It's good to see Joe Brewer in the house saying the problem with Genty, and this is something I noticed, is when the talent level went up in the college playoffs, he struggled a lot. Move up for Warren. Another thing, real quick, I want to say about Ashton Genty, and then I'll let it go, is that if you look at his snap count over the last few years at Boise State,
it's a lot of
that dude has a lot of wear on his tires.
Yeah.
And you and I both know, Jay, running backs do not last very long, even when they have been handled with kid gloves, so to speak, in college. They don't last long in the NFL.
You're not.
And he's already got that many carries. That makes me nervous.
Our guy, Fanatic Dak, threw out a tweet today saying that he was very, in a parent sense, very disappointed in some Broncos Twitter talking about how Genty's going to be a bust and Genty really shouldn't be to the status that they are. And he thought that was nuts. And there's some holes you can poke in the whole Genty should be like, propped up as high as he is here. I mean, we've made him into, a Barry Sanders running back can't miss. Yeah. And I think that's a little, there are people comping him to Jones Drew, the old Jaguars running back. That's not lighting my life on fire. Like whoop-de-doo-dah.
Here's the thing. Like, look at Javonte Williams. Now, I'm not saying Javonte Williams coming out of college was anywhere near the level of what we saw from Ashton Genty in college. But you can look at the wear on his tires coming out of college. Javonte Williams had a ton of carries for UNC.
Yes and no. Yes and no. He had a split backfield, but it was the way in which he ran. He ran like a monster, like he was on fire.
And you saw him had a great rookie campaign, and then plummet off the cliff.
And you can make the argument, well, any running back can blow their knee out, and their whole career could be over. True. But not every
we've seen running backs come back from that.
Yeah, but not every running back runs with the tenacity that Williams did in his rookie year, and that Genty does. Like that's Genty's whole thing is he breaks ridiculous tackles.
Yes. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm I'm not all for. I'm not like a major proponent of moving up. If they do it, they do it, and I'll trust in Peyton's. We trust, but I would still be. I would be cautious about it.
Yeah, I agree.
We got D-Rock popping back in saying for years we had so many holes to be filled with the draft. Finally, we're not Swiss cheese. We're Gouda, sharp cheddar, mother effing monster.
Ooh.
Oh man,
Pinky's
all he had to do was say Gouda, bro. I love Gouda so much.
I already got my
Fanatic
wine here.
Yeah, there you go. Get some cheese, go with that wine, Jay. We got Fanatic Dak in the house saying Tyler Warren would be amazing.
Yeah, that's my thing. If it's not Genty and we're not talking about that, that's the guy. That's the guy that we could absolutely go target, that we secretly just fell in love with. And Sean Payton's like, we need to go get him. It doesn't matter what it takes. That's my guy. Like, we got to have him. Could happen.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. Kodiak Broncos podcast says Hunter is unreal, but the cost would be just too monumental to go up to 2 from 20.
Totally agree. I'm not mortgaging the future, multiple first rounders or first and second rounder. Like,
yeah, but then he says, okay, but hear me out. PS2, Hunter, Moss, McMillian, Cad, Jones, and Hufanga. Who are you gonna throw to? Nobody.
And by the way, just a side note here, full endorsement on the Kodiak Broncos podcast for anyone watching. Go find him on YouTube. He's an awesome analyst. He had a really good deep dive mock draft that he just released today. It was really good. So go check.
Cool. Definitely do so. We love here on the Orange and Blue Network to support all Broncos podcast media out there. We want to support each other because at the end of the day, we're all fans, and that's what's important. Let me see. Joe Brewer, G-Men want Dart over Shadur. That's a mistake, but it's the Giants. Do we really expect them to start making good decisions now?
That's so Giants. That's so Giants.
It's what they do, dude. Idiots. They don't make. They are you freaking idiots. Let's see. Blitz says, I'm all out for staying out because we don't have a lot of holes we need filled. This is a deep running back class. We have spent 8 years rebuilding. We are in win mode now, so let's just grab Genty or grab a tight end. Yeah, the only thing is, we've spent 8 years in this, like you said, with these draft holes. We spend the capital to move up to get one of these guys. And in a couple years, next year or the year after, we're right back in that spot with being full of, being Swiss cheese in the draft. You get, so I get this whole, I understand it. I understand everybody wanting to be like, just move up and get this great guy in the draft. I get it. But I am also a very practical person. I have to be. And that's how I look at it.
Yeah, I'm definitely a George Payton guy in that I need more darts. I want to go into or end the draft with more picks than I came into the draft with.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, it's a crapshoot. And we can find gems, diamonds in the rough. I mean, look what we are anticipating out of Devon Vele, for an example. But how many other teams just like, oh, he's going to go undrafted. Like, we don't even need to, scout him. Like, he's not even on our radar.
I'm just saying, like, you got, let's talk running backs for just a second. We will get to this big board and we will start the mock draft here soon, guys. But let's look at it. Let's just talk these running backs for just a second here, right? We're sitting at 20. Okay. I mean, it's not the best place to be sitting. You could move up to get Ashton Genty. That's the running back you would move up for. I would not move. I wouldn't necessarily. First. Yeah, and several other picks at least.
Probably
your first, and to move up that much, probably your first and at least your second this year. Not to mention a pick or two next year.
Yeah, definitely a pick next year.
I can't see us feeling the need right now with this running back class as deep as it is to move up for Omari and Hampton.
Oh hell no!
Genty would be Genty would be the only running back you would spend the capital to move up for.
Totally agree.
Otherwise, like you said, Jay, dart throws. Move back. You can move back to 28. You can move back to 29. I get that there's not a whole lot of teams out there looking to move up in the first round at all anyway, but I'm sure you could probably convince somebody.
It's not moving up. It's that there is a lot of chatter about teams moving back into the first round in our range to go get a Jalen Milroe, to go get Dart, to go get the second tier quarterback but you get that all-important fifth-year option, and that's why like Baltimore came back and got Lamar Jackson. Like that's what you do in the first round is you go get your guy, you know.
And so
really
I mean, you know, you can move back and get Travion Henderson. And I'm telling you right now, watching film on that dude, Travion Henderson would absolutely slaughter for Denver. And
I'm becoming more and more thoughtful of the fact that I can see that being number 20. If we don't have success in trades and
get Travion Henderson at 20,
just get our guy. Get the guy.
Get our guy.
He's not gonna be there at 51. I can almost guarantee that.
And here's the thing: we already know that Sean Payton and George Payton are above picking a guy above where he's projected to go.
Yeah,
I mean, Bo Nix last year was projected to go at like 26 to 28. We took him at 12.
One of my favorite Sean Payton quotes in the draft process last year when we were talking about quarterbacks is that we are confident in our evaluations and our process, and we are really happy that a lot of other teams are not very good at it.
Yeah, agreed.
And terrific. Like we've got a great double head of draft nicks in our building, so not concerned about who we draft.
No, I have entirely excuse me. I have incredible faith in George Payton, his scouting staff, and of course the eyeball of one of the greatest coaches to ever set foot on the sidelines in Sean Payton. Yeah. I have all the faith in the world that they know who they want, that they know what they want, and they are going to do everything that they can to get it. I just don't see that being moving up that far in the draft, like from 20 to 5. That's scary to me.
And this will break Isaiah's heart, but I will also be equally upset if we move up for, say, Loveland, which Loveland in a lot of big boards, my God, that's the player that I was the biggest surprise out of all the big boards that I saw is Loveland being like, you know, one slot below Warren, but both of them being top 10 as far as big board. Very high for Loveland.
Very high. Very high. A lot of the mock drafts and stuff I've seen have him dropping to us at 20.
I doubt that.
I doubt it too. I'm just saying I have seen it happen. It's happened in a couple that I've done. However,
like the most mocked player to us in the first round, honestly,
which kind of shocks me. Because, we know that our biggest need is running back. Yep. Use your first round pick, fill our biggest need. After that, we can go get whoever the hell we want because this draft is deep, and we're wow, holy cow! Fanatic Dak dropping a $20 super chat on us. Pop $20 from Fanatic Dak. He says, "You guys are awesome. Draft day is gonna be lit."
You well, thanks, Mr. Dak.
I'm speechless, man. I'm absolutely speechless right now. Thank you, Dak. What a kind gesture. We appreciate you so much, my friend. So like looking at this as we are, you know, like I said, you can get your guy. You can get the guy that fills your greatest need at 20. That's or moving back a little. After that, this team is in a position where we have the luxury. We could pick any position sans quarterback and be fine because we don't have that much need necessarily. I mean, there's things you want to fill for depth,
sure, and
for future, but there's nothing pressing besides running back right now, and that is such an insane feeling. Blitz says Gentsy's a winner now. I'll take my shot over future picks. We can only hope to get a stud. I'll take my chances. I'm a gambling man, and he's a top prospect for a reason. Shoot your shot, Sean Payton.
Okay. Hey, I got 2 words for you. Mountain West.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Shy wants to know what players we need in the NFL draft. Really, just running back, another tight end, probably. A defensive. Yeah, I was going to say a defensive tackle.
D-line.
A safety, probably. And then you always get a cornerback. Almost every draft, they'll draft a cornerback, usually in the later rounds for depth.
I don't know about that because we just signed one. Okay, see, here's a very underrated thing that I've thought about. We signed 2 all-star special teamers in free agency that were very under the radar. One of them being a cornerback that actually plays cornerback. So I don't know, man. Cornerback might be the position that might be off the board completely in this draft.
That could be.
Someone put out a tweet a long time ago is what's the position you'd be most upset about in the first round? And that was my answer was cornerback. I do not want a cornerback in the first round.
I'm not saying first round, but I'm saying like 6th, 7th round. Go get you a depth cornerback. You could do that. Edge is another one that you always want to stack edge guys. So I mean, you could do that. So. All right, let's take that one down. Okay, we got Judson Cake popping in, saying, hey, guys. What's up, Judson? It's good to see you back. Thank you for joining us again. Joe Brewer says, I would be mad if Broncos Country takes it. Broncos. I would be...
Nope.
I would be mad, Broncos Country, if the Broncos take an offensive lineman at 20.
Nope.
Agreed.
Definitely not. No, I do not agree with that. I will stop you right there, Mr. Brewer. Me and Dak have spoke an ad nauseum about this. Gray Zabel, if at 20 and the board falls a certain way, but it's more than likely that we fall back. And at pick 28 or at pick something like that, absolutely take a flyer on an interior offensive lineman to replace Powers or Wattenberg. Take your pick. One of them will not be with us next year. So,
but only if you were able to trade back enough to get a pick that's going to let us get the running back who's going to change our running back room.
I would agree. It would be a luxury pick. We don't need it.
That's it.
But
that's it.
It's a highly valuable position.
Yes, it is.
Same reason you would draft edge. We don't need it, but if you can get a high floor, like high ceiling edge player, go get him. Like, I don't care, double down on your strengths. Like, that's a high position that you can always use more of.
Oh, I mean, yes, but again, there has to be a very specific scenario where I would be okay with that.
I agree.
Like,
certainly not moving up. Certainly not moving up.
God, no.
Right?
No.
Okay, we can all
no way. But you got Judson agreeing with you on Zabel, and
I love Gray Zabel, man. Love him.
And then Joe Brewer says, so no on linebacker Campbell at 20.
He won't be there. He's a stud. He is a stud, but I think he's going to Tampa Bay to eventually be the replacement for Levante David. That's my 2 cents.
Wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, Levante's getting long in the tooth at this point.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I think it's a good time now to kind of just go through the big board that I kind of came up with. A couple of caveats before the fact. I eliminated quarterback from our big board completely.
Who needs them?
I tried to think like the fact that the Broncos are in a position to kind of pick any player at any positions except for quarterback. I kept every other position on there, but I removed all quarterbacks. So Shador is not on there, and Dart isn't on there. None of those guys. And then of course these are grades. Some of these are in places that might seem a little bit odd to you, Jay, maybe, and maybe even to the rest of you, Broncos Country. But ones that I thought, based on what I was watching on film study and other things that I kind of felt like would be a better, guys may have raised up above others based on fit for the Broncos as opposed to necessarily just who they are, in the position that, say, Daniel Jeremiah put them and things like that.
Sure.
So it might look a little bit different. So prepare yourself.
From a Bronco lens.
I did my very best to do this from a Bronco lens. The big board is literally just a player-by-player list, 1 to 96. And we don't have to go through all of them.
Sure.
But it is, it's a player-by-player. It's not broken up by position. It's just by best player available in my opinion, for what we need and everything like that.
Well, before we get in, this is one thing that I was literally just about to ask you, and Bonkers brings it up, actually. Why eliminate quarterback? They might draft a quarterback 6th or 7th round. And although you are correct, Bonkers, and this was the only thing I was going to throw out there with that, is that don't be surprised if we don't take a flyer on a guy that is a Taysom Hill-esque person that is a joker to throw out on the most randomness shit in the world that Sean Payton has in the back of his head that he works on when he's had a couple lattes. It could happen.
The other reason is simply I did not big board all the way through 244 picks.
Sure.
I did a big board for basically what could encompass the first 3 rounds, the premium rounds.
Understand.
Because tonight we're only doing a 3-round mock draft at normal speed. So,
Mr. Kenna.
Oh yes, Mr. Kenna, our resident Raider fan. How are you, my friend? So yes, they could go for a quarterback in 6 or 7, but I didn't build a list that goes all that far back because I'm going to be honest with you. I am a father of 3 with a full-time job and a wife who is incredibly, incredibly covetous of my time, and I just did not have the time to build a big board that goes through all 7 rounds. So that's why I just went ahead and eliminated quarterback because I promise you there's absolutely no effing way the Broncos select a quarterback in the first 3 rounds. So it's that simple. So let's get to it a little bit. Like I said, 96. It goes to the top. It's 96 players that I have on this board, and not all of them. And we don't have to go through all of them. Hey, you probably don't even know how many of them there are, but who some of them are. Rather, I'm sorry. So we're gonna still kind of go ahead and go through it. So Jay, you said it at the beginning. You don't know how my board's gonna fall, but you knew how my first guy was gonna fall. Oop. Hang on a spell. Let's try this again. Forgot to go back to 1. Here we go. Travis Hunter. Number one, baby. I mean,
no question.
No question. The dude is a unicorn. All right. So it made sense to me simply to just say, the hell with it. I mean, initially, Abdul Carter was actually, when I started this, Abdul Carter was at the top of the list. And I was like, no, wait, Travis Hunter's got to go above him. Then you have the edge from Penn State, Abdul Carter, Mason Graham, the defensive tackle from Michigan. You can see I do have an offensive tackle on the board. At 4th, and that's Armand Membu. I spent a lot of time watching that dude, watching Mizzou games this season, and I really liked what I saw from him. Another offensive tackle brings in number 5. That's Will Campbell from LSU. Ashton Genty rounded out at number 6 on this big board for me. I know a lot have him going. Excuse me, I'm gonna have to get a drink. My voice is.
That's okay. That is probably. I mean, that is the Raiders' pick. If we just think about teams where they are and prospective people of where they're going to go,
yes.
Genty at 6 isn't too far off.
Yeah, a lot of big boards and mock drafts I've seen have him going at 5, but sure. I felt he fell at 6. Will Johnson, the cornerback from Michigan, comes in at 7. T-Mac, Tetaroa McMillan at number 8 from Arizona. Then Tyler Warren, who we've talked about, fills out at 9, where we have said that we would, might be comfortable trading up to 9 if we were to do a trade up. If he were available there and they made the call, I could probably be okay with that.
I was going to say, if we just stop here and at top 10 here, if we're looking at Walker included, Warren, Genty, the only 2 players that would be anywhere justifiable to trade up for.
So how do you feel about just out right out the gate, Jay? How do you feel about the top 10 I placed on the big board?
I love it. The only one I would probably pick out would probably be Will Johnson, even not from a Broncos perspective. Barron, cornerback from Texas, has been mocked a lot to be far higher than even Johnson. But Johnson's, a blue chip cornerback. He's going to be great. So that would be my only tweak. But
and again,
same
like the position of some of these guys was simply from film I watched and things that I saw.
Sure.
And again, I was trying to approach this from a Broncos lens. So I personally saw things from Will Johnson, his vertical, his soft hands. He's got great hands. That I just felt like one thing that our cornerback room has not had the best of is great hands, in ball hawking ability. They've been great at defending passes. We've seen a few, we saw a few interceptions from our guys last year in the cornerback position. Yeah. But I felt like Will Johnson over, who did you say?
Barron. I can't remember
Barron
first
from
name,
Texas.
Yeah.
I felt like he would upgrade that for us.
Sure.
As a rotation, maybe, starting as a rotational player, kind of like Cad has been doing.
Yeah.
But I really liked him. So, all right, that's the top 10. We go now for 11 through 20.
Okay.
It's a run on edges on this in this big board right here. 11 through 14 are edge rushers. Mike Green from Marshall, Michael Williams from Georgia, James Pierce Jr. from Tennessee. Watched a lot of him. He's going to be
a beast.
He's a beast.
Character.
Shamar and then it was actually really difficult to pick this 13th and 14th spots. James Pierce and Shamar Stewart. I thought both of them were almost identical.
Yep.
And so honestly, the only reason that James Pierce got edged out Shamar for the 13th spot, which is my lucky number by the way, was because I live in Tennessee. That's really on this big board. That's the only reason he's ahead of Shamar Stewart and not neck and neck.
Makes sense.
After that, you got the offensive tackle from Texas, Kelvin Banks Jr. Then Luther Burden, I actually put it 16th as a wide receiver. Matthew Golden, the wide receiver from Texas, and that was hard on me because you know how high I've been on Luther Burden.
Yeah,
but just looking at overall, who's worth what where, Luther Burden fell to 16th. 17th was Matthew Golden, the wide receiver from Texas. I feel like that's a perfect spot for him. Colston Loveland at 18 after him, the tight end from Michigan. Boy. Yep, Isaiah's boy. Derek Harmon, the defensive tackle that everybody loves so much, which I love him too. He's great. But he falls in at 19. And then Malachi Starks, the safety from Georgia, comes in at number 20. And he's going to, he's the first safety that'll go in this draft. I pretty much can guarantee it. Yep. And I think he's going to be a game record at the safety position.
Before Hufanga signing, that was the most popular mock for us.
Yeah, it was. And look right where he falls.
Yep.
20. Right at our pick.
Yep.
Right at our pick.
That's
so I'm going to hit this. Oh, go ahead, Jay.
Well, I was just going to say, let's do one more page here, and then let's get into a mock. So I think that first round's going to make some waves, I think, from this point on, because there will be quarterbacks.
And nothing says either that we can't pause the draft and come back to our big board.
Absolutely.
Either. But I do want to hit up a couple of comments here. Again, it's good to see Jack Kenna in here. He does say, tomorrow, Richie going to do his draft. All of us do his draft, all us AFC West teams. So if you guys want to check that out, go on to the MHRT network and check out the Wild Wild West podcast tomorrow evening, where all four of our wonderful
representatives
will do their will do a mock draft together. That's going to be cool.
Yeah.
So make sure you check that out. Bronco Rob, our good friend, saying, "What's up, boys? What's up, Rob? Love you, buddy." Rocking the caricature that I created for him for Orange and Blue Network. Look at that face. It's just want to squeeze it. Just kidding. I love you, buddy. Bonkers Broncos saying, "I'm looking forward to those pesky no-name guys like Terrell Davis, Shannon Sharp, Steve Atwater." That's the best. It's the best thing in the world when dudes get drafted that nobody expected.
We're very good at it. We're very good at it. We've always been, as a franchise, been good at it. Sean Payton specifically is good at it.
Indeed.
George Payton is specifically good at it. Like, both of those entities have a history of being very good at it. So Saturday's a must watch for a Bronco fan, because that could be a
absolutely
starter.
Judson Cake coming in saying, "Nice list, John." Thanks, Judson. Appreciate you. Mundungus, the head honcho over at MHRT Network, says Travis Hunter is overrated.
Johnny, I watched the 5280 pod right before us, and he was speaking ill of our guy. And I won't stand for it.
All I can say is wait until we see Trav in the NFL. You'll be singing a different tune.
All pro at 2 positions, no big deal. Never been done.
But you know what? I'm gonna hit on it real quick. I don't think Travis Hunter comes out and does positions right out the gate as a rookie.
Oh, I think no. Oh, so can I tell you what the trajectory for Travis Hunter is going to be for his career?
I go for it, Jay. I would be sad if you didn't.
So we're talking the first 2 years, he's going to try both at the same time. And he's going to have success at both at times, but it won't be consistent success. But he's going to try it. He's going to try 2. But then he's going to have 2 separate careers where he has a whole season dedicated to wide receiver. And then I believe there will be an instance in his career where he gets a little slower and his athleticism comes back down to earth. And on the back half of his career, because I think he's going to have a long career, he'll go back to defense, to cornerback, where he is a absolute freak technician at that position. He would be an all-pro cornerback, not because of his speed, not because of his athleticism. It's because of his technique that he has honed over the years. So, like, the dude literally could be all-pro in both positions, but for 2 different reasons. He's not just a freak athlete that would be good at both. He is a technician, aside from the athleticism, on the defensive end at least. So, dude, he's nuts, man. He's a freak.
He is. But like I said, I think, honestly, okay, here's what I think. You said yours, I'm going to say mine. Here's what I think it's not going to be up to him. I think if it was up to him, he'd be out there playing both cornerback and wide receiver for whoever is fortunate enough to get him. However, I think an intelligent coach is going to want to make sure that they develop him strongly at one position this season, and then they can begin to work him into doing other things later. Also, of course, they're going to want to think about his longevity too.
Sure. Big investment.
So
going to be a top 5 pick.
Top 5 pick, that's a huge investment.
It is.
And if you throw him in as a rookie into 2 positions, and let's say by year 2 or 3 he's burned out and broken because he was doing too much,
yeah,
you know who's going to get the blame for that? Whichever coach didn't hold him back.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong.
So I think right now he's coming into the draft listed as a cornerback as opposed to a wide receiver. I think he'll get drafted and utilized in whichever, they can pick whichever one they want, but he will be utilized on one side of the ball, at least in his rookie year. And then after that, they can start exploring.
I know it's all smoke, but he did say if a team's not going to let him play both sides, he's just going to quit football. He did say that.
Yeah, well,
but that's not going to happen. I know, but like that's how strongly he feels about it.
It's not like he's John Elway and was drafted by the New York Yankees as well. So his options are slightly limited there.
Have you seen him play basketball? Oh my
God! Yes, but he's not getting drafted into the NBA right now, Jay.
Well, he probably played better than MPJ.
Probably, but at least in game 1. All right, so let's get these last couple comments, and then we'll go through the picks 21 through 32, and then we'll do our first round of our mock draft.
Yeah.
We got Judson Cake coming back in saying, "Greedy me says Derek Harmon, Emeka Egbuka, or Loveland at 20. Then use picks 51 and 191, and next year's second for Detroit's 28th and 196, and grab Henderson."
Judson,
That's actually
you
not.
hit the nail on the head. That's exactly.
It's actually
what
insanely greedy, in my opinion.
That's
not.
exactly how I hope it plays out. Mwah.
You know,
perfect.
It's chef's kiss.
Yep.
Mundungus says to you, Jay, based on your love for Mathis, I don't trust you. And my good friend from the Army, Billy Timmons, my buddy that I served with, he says, "Hola, what's up, Billy? It's good to see you, buddy. Thank you for joining us tonight for our mock draft and big board episode." So, back to the big board, shall we?
Yep.
So we've gone through all the way through our pick at 20, and safety Malachi Starks from Georgia is 20th on the big board.
Yep.
Moving on, number 21, I was another safety, Nick Emenwari from the safety from South Carolina. I just felt like he was just another one of those guys. He's gonna make a big difference at the safety position for someone.
He's a freak.
Jahdae Barron, there's your guy, your cornerback you were talking about, Jay. Yeah. Now he falls at pick 22. Not pick 22. He falls at 22nd overall on our big board.
Sure.
Then there's your boy Gray Zabel, offensive guard, North Dakota State at 23. Tyler Booker. Tyler Booker falls at 24, the offensive guard from Alabama. We got back-to-back Alabama players here. 25, Jihad Campbell, who is going to be a special linebacker.
Really yeah.
He falls there for me, but I do not expect that he will make it to the past 15.
Best true linebacker in the draft by a lot.
Absolutely. Now we go back to another offensive tackle. Josh Simmons from Ohio State is in at pick 26 or at number 26. Then the defensive tackle from Ole Miss, Walter Nolan. I like Walter Nolan a lot.
Like him a lot too.
I know that everybody's so high on Harmon, but dude, Walter Nolan is something special too, man.
He is. And he's got the highest ceiling. He's
got a high ceiling. Yeah. And he's got a high ceiling. Have you seen the size of that dude's hands?
Yeah. He's got the tools, man.
It'd be like getting, you go up against him on, in the line scrum. It's going to be like getting pawed in the face by a grizzly bear with the size of Walter Nolan's hands. Then edge rusher Nick Scorton from Texas A&M is at 28. Now Emeka Egbuka at 29. Ohio State wide receiver. Omarion Hampton for me actually came all the way in at 30.
Not surprising.
I personally, I was so high on him just a few weeks, about a month ago. But the more film study I've done on him versus other running backs, he is just slowly falling down my list to the point where I find him overrated.
People have him at 10 to the Bears. I can't. That's nuts to me. I think he's a fringe first rounder. Like, he really should be an early second rounder. That's nuts to me.
Yeah. So moving on, just to do the last two for the first round, it'll be at pick 30, at number 31, Tyleik Williams, the defensive tackle from Ohio State. Another big bruiser. He's going to make a difference for someone on the defensive line, for sure. And then Siobhan Revell, the cornerback from East Carolina. Didn't play in a lot of huge games.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've watched any film on Siobhan Revell, Jay.
But there's not much film.
There isn't. But what there is, he was very quick, and he had great direction change. He had stop and turn on a dime kind of speed. Awesome there. Not somebody I necessarily would go for, but he is a good cornerback and one that you need, you can keep your eyes on. Judson, now we'll do the mock draft in just a second, starting with round one. But Judson Kick says, give me RJ Harvey in the third or fourth. Pick up a second running back late draft like Ja'Cory Crosby Merritt or Mario Anderson. Me personally, I am high on Corey Kiner and Jihad Brooks.
Yeah, there's a lot of, if you want to go fourth round down, there's a lot of running backs.
I'm sorry, I said Jihad Brooks. I meant Taj Brooks from A&M.
Yeah.
No, he's not A&M. Is he Tech?
Say the name again.
Taj Brooks. He's
Texas Tech.
Yeah, he's Tech. Sorry.
Yeah.
I really like Corey Kiner from Cincinnati. or Taj Brooks is a late round running back acquisition. I love those guys. Both of them have incredible balance. Really wide base, so they are really hard to get down. They bounce off tackles, and not necessarily a lot of high acceleration speed, but would be a great third down back.
Running back is one of those positions that is so reliant on how well your line is, and if your coach is going to give you a bulk amount of carries to like get into a zone, and like Absolutely. It isn't going to be a share. So like some of these guys, man, like Neal from Kansas that we haven't mentioned, or some of these some of these later round running backs, to me, could have better careers than Omarion Hampton. That's why I'm
Devin Neal. Devin Neal is on this list. Devin Neal is on my big board. He's just not in the first round. He's not a first round.
Well, of course he's not.
Doesn't get
first round. Neither should Hampton. I get it.
No, I don't think so either. I think that Omarion Hampton's actually overrated. Now that I've watched more and more and more film on him versus other running backs, he's overrated. So I'm going to go ahead and drop down our big board here for just a second, and we're going to get ready to do the first round of our mock draft. We're doing this using Pro Football Network. I've done mock drafts during this season. I have done mock drafts with several different simulators, and in doing so, I have found that my favorite and the most, the most user-friendly, but also somewhat accurate one that I really believe is the Pro Football Network one is the best. So That's what we're doing. You can see it here. We're selected Broncos. We're doing 3 rounds, and we're doing it at slow speed, so we can kind of pay attention to who goes where. Yeah. So here we go. Get ready, and let's go. Oh, but hang on. Pausing. I got to pause because this is not working well. Give me just a second here, y'all. I'm trying to.
Yeah,
there we go. Yeah. All right, so now it's already started. Cam Ward, quarterback to the Titans. No shock there. Abdul Carter, the edge rusher from Penn State, goes to the Browns.
I could see that.
Not a surprise.
I could see that.
Travis Hunter. There he is, Jay. He goes to the New York Giants.
I hope he doesn't.
I hope he doesn't either, because what a way to waste a unicorn.
Russell Wilson and Travis Hunter don't need to ever.
And Mundungus will like this. If there's one thing that we know, is that killing a unicorn is a mortal sin. We learned that from Harry Potter. All right, there you go, Mundungus. That one was just for you. The Broncos Wizard. All right, resuming. If it goes, here we go. Will Campbell, the offensive tackle from LSU, goes to the Patriots.
Next one checks out too. Ooh, McMillan. Yep. So
Armand Mbou. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, faced with the decision between Genty and McMillan, that's crazy. The Raiders go that way. I could see it. I could absolutely see it. Because they have
wanting to get more. They don't have any receiving weapons for Geno, thank you. Geno Smith. Need to be something for him. So I mean, I could see them going either way. A star running back or star wide receiver, do something. Although we've learned in previous years, every time that the Raiders take a star wide receiver, he ends up in jail. So.
Yeah, dude, T-Mac
sorry, Jack.
It's crazy to me.
Sorry, Jack Kenna. And then Armand Mbou, who was my top offensive tackle in this draft for sure.
That checks out as well.
Which, by the way, he wasn't initially on that big board when I was creating it. Because the way that big board was created, it came pre-built, and then you moved players where you felt they
Makes
were.
Sense.
So. And he was not the top offensive tackle. So I feel like I kind of felt like I kind of, toot my own horn. I saw it coming. That he
foreshadowed it.
Yep. So he goes to the Jaguars. Let's move on. Jets take Mason Graham, the defensive tackle from Michigan. Will Johnson, the quarterback from Michigan, goes to the Panthers. Ashton Genty, right there.
Pause it right here, Johnny.
Yep.
So That is a bold move from the Saints because they have Kamara still. There is a thought in my head. Follow me here. A thought in my head that Alvin Kamara could be a Denver Bronco on draft day. That has still been a conspiracy theory that we've talked about multiple times in the past. And Kamara had the famous verbal thing that we all saw lip sync, like, come get me, when we played the Saints in New Orleans.
Daddy!
He said it. I wouldn't be surprised if they do that and they go above Chicago, because it's a known fact. Chicago and Ben Johnson, who loves Gibbs, obviously in Detroit where he comes from, Chicago's taken Janty if he's there. No question. So if we want to move up and we are thinking about trading up and there's rumors out there about it, it has to be 7, 8, 9. One of those three teams has to be. Because Chicago will nab him up in a second, but it's all dependent on what the Raiders do, obviously. In the
absolutely, which they went for a wide receiver in this mock.
Can't blame them.
And I do want to say, Jay, it moved on, but I felt like this website, the Pro Football Network, their advertising was trying to take jabs at you with hostess advertisements.
Yeah, that is. Bold-faced lies and conspiracy fake news I will not recognize. Little Debbie or die.
Because we all know that Jay's in love with Miss Little Debbie. So
she's
all right.
Never let me down.
Never ever. She's let me down plenty. Anyway. But hey, I gotta toot my own horn. Between the eating better, the drinking better, drinking much less, and doing a lot of projects outside, working, hard work. I am now down 22 pounds. So,
wow.
Yeah, go me.
There you go.
All right. So, moving on. It's now Chicago's pick. They take Kelvin Banks, the offensive tackle from Texas. Shamar Stewart, the edge, goes to San Francisco. Tyler Warren to the Cowboys at 12. Whoa. Wow. Ouch. Yeah, big ouch.
Okay, can we pause one more time? Or
go.
So,
I've got
again, then this is the whole other set, this whole other range of teams that I can see us moving up for Tyler Warren. Because it is a known fact that Indianapolis has targeted Tyler Warren to try and help support their offense. He's gone. A lot of mocks that I saw had Loveland going to the Colts. Whether... wherever Warren went, Warren was going to be above them, and they were still going tight end. So, like, San Francisco, Dallas, and Miami, it's got to be one of those teams if you want Tyler Warren. It's crazy how this is stacked up.
Absolutely. Okay, so we can now resume. The Colts take Colston Loveland.
See?
There it is. Mike Green, the edge from Marshall, goes to the Lions. Michael Williams from Georgia, the edge goes to the Cardinals. Tyler Booker, offensive guard from Alabama, to the Bengals. Shedeur Sanders goes at 18 to the Seattle Seahawks.
Wow.
And hang on.
Ooh.
Let's see what we got here.
Ooh, I really
Arizona's offering us. Do we want to do trades, or do we want to just
no? Let's keep the integrity. Let's keep the integrity of the.
Stay at 20. Let's stay at 20. Yeah. So we're going to reject. Jacksonville, though, is offering us pick 36, pick 70.
That's a great offer,
and their second next year for 20.
Oh my God, I would jump at that in a second.
In a heartbeat. But again, for the purposes of this mock draft, we're staying put. But that would be a good one.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we're not on any type of real clock here. Jahdae Barron was the last one to go. That the cornerback from Texas goes to the Buccaneers. So let's take a look here at who is available to us. We got wide receiver Matthew Golden. Derek Harmon's there. Malachi Starks. I would not go safety at 20 though.
Or
Nick Emenwari, same thing. But look, if you look, they're right there, just like I had them, back to back, pretty much. We got Josh Simmons. We got Jihad Campbell, Walter Nolan, Gray Zabel, Nick Scorton, Emeka Egbuka, James Pierce Jr. Don't need Jackson Dart. Omarion Hampton is there at 32.
Good for them. They have Dart above Hampton, as they should.
Yeah, as they should. It looks like everybody else kind of agrees with. It looks like at least Pro Football Network somewhat agrees with us, Jay, in that Hampton has dropped in his stock somewhat.
Boy,
so what are we thinking here?
This is a hard decision.
If you look at our big board, I mean, we're kind of sitting right where we thought we would be.
I mean, I don't know if this is the right answer, but Jihad Campbell being on the board, I wouldn't have expected.
I wouldn't have either.
Now, I don't think we'll pick him. Realistically, if truly this was the true scenario, I don't think we would do it. Still,
no, I wouldn't
because
either.
I don't think we value the position like that. But I think that would be a home run in the long run to have to pair him with Greenlaw. Oh my god!
Well, the fact that he's on the board, do we want to do it, Jay?
I think we should stick this to the realistic, because I still, again, like I said, if he's on the board, I don't think we'll take him no matter what. Same thing if there's a tackle on the board that drops, we're not going to take him. I truly don't believe. What do you think? What's your perspective?
I mean, I'm still of the perspective that running back is what you do in the first round if you stay at 20. I hate it, but okay. If we had accepted those trades and moved back, I could see doing something different.
Okay, I get that.
Based on literally the fact that we have one real need, I would address that with your top pick.
See, and this is maybe where we differ, because I am not a Janty, Hampton, or Henderson person or bust. There are others that I would accept as the go-to running back that we're going to draft. And that might be still at 51.
Then I'm going to bend to you on this one. Let's take someone other than running back at 20. Based on who is left available right here, right now. Hang on, I got to take it. Okay, here we go. Based on who is still available right now. Who are you taking, Jay, at 20?
So I honestly really think it's going to be Harmon or Nolan. I think our coaching staff is smart enough to understand that we got bent over against teams like Baltimore and Buffalo in the playoffs, and Malcolm Roach is all right, and DJ Jones is all right, and we only got DJ Jones on the hook for one more year. Mm-hmm. But that is a weakness of our defense and our team overall that we'll have to address and match up with at some point. You might as well take care of it in the first round. I would personally, out of Harmon and Nolan, I would go Walter Nolan, because I think he could be like a top 5 at his position in the NFL if it works out.
Okay.
Super high.
So I was high on Walter Nolan. I already expressed that when we were going through the big board. So not that this is what I would hope to happen if we're picking at 20, because I don't think that, our true game changer is going to be there at 51, but let's do it. Walter Nolan, we drafted it. Denver Broncos select Walter Nolan. We'll pause at the end of the first round here to kind of go back through it. Derek Harmon, we'll kind of go back through. I'm just going to let it play through to 32.
Okay, starts. That makes sense for, yep. Oh, wow.
There goes Jihad Campbell at 25.
He goes all the way down. Wow. Interesting.
All right. We're almost there. We're almost to the end of the first round.
Pierce drops that far. Pierce could have been a top 10 pick. Gray Zabel goes to the Chiefs. That would, you want to know what would grind my gears? Is my boy
Gray tell me about it, Peter Griffin. All right, so let's look at the ones that went after us. We took Walter Nolan, the defensive tackle from Ole Miss. Big hands, incredibly strong, and a brick wall at the defensive tackle position. Like you said it, Jay, I think he could easily become a top 5 defensive tackle in the NFL.
The ceiling's crazy high.
Maybe not in his first year, but by year 2, very possible. The wide receiver Matthew Golden goes to the Steelers at 21. Derek Harmon goes at 22 to the Chargers. Ooh, that'd be hard on us. Josh Simmons, the offensive tackle from Ohio State, goes to Green Bay. Malachi Starks, safety from Georgia, to the Vikings. Jihad Campbell went at 25 to the Texans. Nick Scorton from Texas A&M, the edge, goes to the Los Angeles Rams. Emeka Egbuka goes to the Titans at 27. Trey Amos goes to the Falcons, the cornerback from Ole Miss. Donovan, these names.
That guy.
Donovan Zaruku. James Pierce, the edge, dropped all the way to the 30th pick. That would suck for him. To the Cowboys, Gray Zabel. Go, Jay, you're so sad right now. He goes to the Chiefs, and Maxwell Hairston goes, the cornerback from Kentucky, goes to the Eagles. We got Clayton Heron popping into the chat right now saying, hey, guys, smash that like button and share. Draft week, baby, let's go! I will be there Saturday. Dude, I'm so excited for you. Isaiah and I got to be at round 1 of the 2019 draft when we drafted Drew Lock. And what a party that was, man. It was insane. And then our buddy Richie Rich, the Broncos representative on the Wild Wild West podcast, says, aloha. He says, duh, draft. Absolutely. Oh, so excited there. Oh, my goodness. All right. Well, we are currently running at an hour and 11 minutes, Jay, so we got to kind of speed this along a bit.
Yep.
We've had a lot of fun, but we've been, we've definitely gotten off onto tangents and talks and everything.
The main guys have gone, though. In the big picture of the draft. Like, second round, you got some names, but, like, once you get into the latter half of the third, it kind of gets mucky for me.
Yeah, I mean, there's really nobody that pops off the page for me either in the second so much.
Then it's just preference.
It's
big
preference.
Big board for third round down is so simple about need and fit.
But we're sitting here looking. We've already gone through these first two here, Tyleek Williams and Siobhan Ravel. Then you kind of go through some defensive tackles, edge, guard, safety, cornerback, offensive tackle, wide receiver, tight end, Mason Tyler. That is one to Mason Taylor. Sorry, that's one to pay attention to.
I know Mario is extremely high on him.
High on Mason Taylor. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What I will say, and I'm going to say this before we continue, is if we didn't take a running back at 20.
We did not.
So we better be taking a running back in round 2.
I agree. We will, and let's see what's there. I think
we will.
This is a good exercise to see what's there at 51.
You can see that Travion Henderson is sitting here at 44 for us on my big board, and he from Ohio State, and then you got Caleb Johnson from Iowa sitting at 48. If either of those two fell to 51, I would take either one in a heartbeat.
Yep.
Going to 51, Quinshawn Judkins on my big board is falling in right at 52. So he's right in that range as well. So let's I don't feel like there's a major need to just sit here and go name by name anymore. So let's just let's roll to the second round of the draft.
Okay.
And we'll see how the chips fall to us at 51, everybody. Let's go. Round 2 begins.
Second round is full of starters as well. Like, you should be able to find a starter in the second round.
Well, there goes Jackson Dart to the Browns.
Wow.
Kenneth Grant goes to the
and they
Ravens.
Traded up for him. That's such a Ravens pick.
Oh, Travion Henderson goes to the Raiders. Not happy.
Bastards.
Not happy me. No.
But that's totally realistic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There goes Amari Hampton at 41 to the Bears.
Again, very realistic.
There goes Luther Burden to the Jets.
Wow. Man, Luther Burden to the Jets would be
wow. The Colts take Xavier Watts. Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. All right.
Here we go.
Here we are. Wow, we're there. And okay, here we go again. We got another.
See, there ain't no way we're trading back from 51.
No.
In my
No way.
opinion. We want to trade
not.
up in the second, if anything.
Yes. All right, so let us look here.
Yeah, go to offense running back. Let's see what we got here.
Because here's the thing. Like I said, if we're not drafting, excuse me, sorry, I hit my microphone. If we don't draft a running back in the first round, based on the need for a running back that's going to change our running back room, we have to go for it in the second. You have to.
I would agree.
I would agree. And so we've got on the board right now. Travion Henderson already went off the board. Omarion Hampton's off the board. We've got Caleb Johnson still on the board from Iowa, and Quinshawn Judkins. We've also got DJ Giddens from Kansas State, who is a very, who's a very strong running back. Very shifty. Cam Scatabo, who I know Jay does not want in the least, so I'm going to draft him. I'm kidding.
You better not. I'm furious.
Yeah, no. Bashal Tootin is still there from Virginia Tech. After that, Ollie Gordon and Dylan Sampson, other good guys that I like. Not as high on Damian Martinez as a lot of people are from Miami. I
would agree.
RJ Harvey, not bad, but again, I'm not going to go picking RJ Harvey or Devin Neal at 51.
It's important to note also Dylan Sampson was supposed to be like a high draft pick. He's got character issues.
He does have character issues, and that's one of the reasons that he's fallen as far as he has. I can show you here. I have him on our board. On our big board, oh God, where is it? There it is. I had him at 87th on our big board.
Okay.
Close to the end, close to the end there. So, I mean, we're going to go ahead and the draft back up.
This is your pick, Johnny. This is your pick.
Yeah.
And this is your, what do you want? What do you want for running backs?
What do I want for running backs? Well, I'm going to be honest with you. It looks based on how this draft fell that the obvious answer is Caleb Johnson, and it is. I'm not going to sit here and go for it just because he's the top one there. But I've done all my research on these running backs going all the way back through. Good Lord, I've probably watched film on everybody all the way up to, pretty much all of them, honestly. Mm-hmm. And in doing so, of the ones that are on the board for us at 51 now, since we went ahead and took our defensive tackle in the first round, Caleb Johnson is the best fit for the Broncos, who will also be a game changer in the running back room for us.
He will.
Quinshawn Judkins is good. He shared the backfield with Travion Henderson, for Ohio State, and was very good. But I feel like Caleb Johnson's speed is just a little. The one thing that really edges Caleb Johnson above him is his speed. And he's got, in my opinion, he's got better hands for receiving.
Yeah, I was going to say the only nick on Caleb Johnson is pass pro, from what I remember reading, and that's there was some things from a combine standpoint, but really when you get down to brass tacks, it's because of Iowa and because of how Iowa, was set up from an offensive schematic standpoint with Kirk Ferentz. They're a very tight end, double heavy, we're running the ball power kind of offense. They're not very dynamic. So
and the thing is,
get a chance.
If the greatest weakness in his game is pass pro, that's something that can be coached into him pretty easily here.
He's got a big body. It's not like he's Jaleel McLaughlin that is just a little runt that No,
he is a big guy. He's a big guy. He's fast. He's got good hands, and he's shifty, which is one of the things we were talking about. We want a shifty running back. I want a shifty running back. He's got great one of the highest points on him in my research is his vision.
Yeah.
He has excellent vision and patience to wait for the lanes to develop for him, and then he exploits it.
He got the most 8 in the boxes pretty much other than Janty out of the entire running back, class here.
Yes.
Like, everyone knew Iowa was running it. So, like, it was, gung-ho for him this entire season. But I want to bring up Judson's comment here. That's why if you want Henderson, you got to do the trade up. 51 to something. 51 to 28 is what he lists. But, like, it's really just the trade up in general. Because, again, if the Raiders pass on a running back, you damn well know they're getting one in the second. If
Absolutely.
The Bears pass on a running back in the first round, which, again, the same thing in this mock.
They did.
They're going to get a running back in the second.
Yes.
So, like, these are teams that we're going to fight for Henderson for. And
absolutely.
If you want your boy, if you want Henderson, you have to trade up or take him at 20. And that was the discussion. Yep. You wanted him at 20.
That's what we said. But you know what? If I'm not getting Henderson, I am just fine getting Caleb Johnson. Because in a lot of ways, he rated very, in my opinion, from what from my analysis, he rated very, very similar to Travion Henderson.
I think Caleb Johnson's a stud, and I think there are
it's a home run.
Smart people that have him as running back number 2 in this class.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a home run. So here we go. Denver with the 51st overall pick in the 2025 NFL Draft. The Denver Broncos select Caleb Johnson, running back, Iowa. All right. And we'll just let it keep on rolling through now till our final pick. We'll note any notables that come off the board.
Trey Harris.
That's a big one for the Chargers there.
Yep. That's smart. I mean, they need
it's very smart. Receiver. It's very smart. They do. Let's see. There goes Tyreek Williams to the Chiefs.
Falcons doubling up on Pitt. Mason Taylor and Pitt. Interesting.
Wow. Let's see. All right, and that does it for the second round. We're moving into round 3 now.
Interesting that the Chiefs have that high of a third rounder.
Yeah,
that's an interesting draft order when you get into the third because like it has no representation really to like first round.
Let's see. Oh, there goes Jacob Parrish, the cornerback from Kansas State, to the
Jalen Royals, Utah State,
wide receiver, and Jaden Higgins after him.
Wow, bang, bang.
And then Quinshawn Judkins goes to the Cowboys.
Which that makes total sense for the Cowboys.
It does.
Cowboys being active in that. Stanford, and there goes
Jack Beck. Yep.
Yeah.
He heads to the Cardinals.
No Torrey Horton. No Torrey Horton yet.
Nope.
There's Chris Paul Jr. I've seen that a lot in a lot of mocks for the Broncos.
Yeah.
There's Elijah Royal. That was gonna be the guy.
All right, and to keep with what we've done all this entire podcast, we're gonna go ahead and reject all comers for trades, and we're just gonna stand pat at where we are. Not that I do not fully expect that though on draft day, by the way, but that's how we're doing.
Man.
So where are we at now? We've got our defensive tackle, we've got our running back. So at this point, we are really at a point of just
uncuffed.
Yeah,
we're free.
Pretty much.
We can do whatever we want.
Do whatever we want. So let's look at who's on the board. You still got another running back here. I know we've talked about doubling up on running backs. You got I need to go back to all here.
Yeah, go to all.
Okay, here we go. There it is. Right there. It's not even tight. We have 2 tight ends, which we do need a tight end. We have 2 tight ends leading out right here on this list. Harold Fannin Jr. from Bowling and Terrence Ferguson from Oregon. Jay, do I even need to say what I'm thinking, or can you read my mind?
No one can convince me otherwise that third round pick is not locked in for a tight end, because like almost every mock I've seen is that you have a little grouping where our third round draft pick is that we have a couple choices on tight end. So like it's the perfect slot for what is right now here. I'm surprised Elijah Arroyo went to Tampa Bay before us, because theoretically I think they could go a different route, and you could have Ferguson, Fannin, and Arroyo all as 3 choices for you. All 3 choices, and everybody's got different opinions on them. But they're all pretty even.
they're all pretty even. I mean, obviously they're ranked differently. On like Daniel Jeremiah's mocks and positioning. However, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and I think I'm going to try to read your mind on this one. You have all three of these dudes. Let's just say for the sake of argument that Arroyo hadn't just now gone to the Buccaneers. You have all three of those guys on the board. I think it's a no-brainer. You go Terrence Ferguson.
That would be the consensus. I think.
I mean, do you agree or disagree? Because I feel like that's an absolute no-brainer. Bo Nix, that's Bo Nix's guy. He was hitting him.
He's there
all the time in college.
They have lunch together when he's in. He's a Colorado guy as well.
Yeah.
So
he's from double. He's a hometown kid, and Bo has and granted, not that familiarity has really worked out for us so far with Bo and his college buddies. It worked out towards the end of the season with Troy, but I am still not sold that Troy Franklin is a future star on this team yet. Well, I'd go Terrence Ferguson.
We're creatures of habit in Broncos country here, and we want to make associations. It's the same reason why when we had the Combine or Pro Day or whatever it was, Tez Johnson was a flashy name that a lot of our media members were just gushing about, and we can't wait till Bo Nix's brother is on the team. And I feel like there's a facet of Broncos country that has over-exploited that relationship in the same argument for Harmon in the first round. Oregon guy, not related, obviously.
Not even on the same side of the ball as Bo Nix.
But it's an Oregon thing. We associate we're going after Oregon guys.
However,
the same clan.
I will argue that when Bo wasn't throwing to Tez and he wasn't throwing to Troy, when he was still at Oregon, he was throwing to Ferguson.
So Fanatic Dak is a staple Duck fan, and I think he would agree. Terrence Ferguson's probably the best tight end Oregon's ever had in their entire program. He smashed all the records. Because I want to say he's a 3-year starter at least.
Yeah. Is he a junior this year?
I believe so. He's played a lot, but I think he had a redshirt year as well. So it's technically his 4th year. But dude, he's a stud. He's going to be great. And that's what the Broncos would do. With that being said, Harold Fannin Jr. looked bad in separation drills at the Combine and the speed aspect of it. But that dude is going to be a red zone nightmare where he's only going to be effective for certain kind of plays, but he is going to be a stud at the next level, in my opinion.
Okay.
But he's going to be a specialist. He's not going to be a, first round tight end, but we're picking in the 3rd round. And Terrence Ferguson's going to be fine. That super high ceiling, probably kind of a low, or a super high floor and a low ceiling. He's going to be really good, I think, day one. Chemistry with Bo, all that stuff.
Sure.
But I don't know. Fannin.
All right. So,
really
if you were making this pick by yourself right now, which one would you pick?
It'd still go Ferguson. It's just an honorable. Ferguson? Yeah. It's still an honorable mention, though, that I think Harold Fannin Jr. is going to be terrific.
All right. Then I'm gonna. I'm also with you. I think I would like to give Bo someone that he's familiar with. That might, because one thing we know about tight end, it is the most difficult position on the offensive side of the ball to learn. So, especially and Sean Payton's system we know is incredibly complicated.
You've got Adam Troutman, one more year.
Yes,
one more year.
And so what I'm feeling here is, with tight end being the most difficult position on the offense to learn, sans quarterback maybe.
Yep.
And and how complicated and complex Sean Payton's system is. It's going to take any tight end coming into the NFL as a rookie a while to really get comfortable and learn it. That being said, if you take somebody who is comfortable with our quarterback, who's already been taking passes from him for years, and everything like that, it might take a little bit of the edge off of that. So that's what I'm going. I would say go Ferguson. So we both say
that's
it.
The
so
smart choice. That's the safe choice. Like
it is.
And so, I will say Fannin is a project and it's a hope. And we're not in all of the moves we've made, like we said at the beginning of this podcast, of that free agency has shown that we're ready to go. We're not taking chances. We're not like on hopeful contracts. We're like signing studs to like, we're going to be contenders now.
Yep.
That's not a Fannin pick. That is not that.
I say let's do it, Jay. With the 81st pick of the 2025 NFL Draft, the Denver Broncos select Terrence Ferguson, tight end, Oregon. There we go. That went through. Boom! It's there. It is. We'll get through and we'll kind of get our grade on this while we're waiting on that. Jack Kenna.
Oh, Tez Johnson goes right after and Fannin.
Wow, that's crazy.
Back to back.
Wow, look at that. Xavier Restrepo, the wide receiver from Miami, goes to the Texans.
Gunnar Helm already went as well.
Yep. Wow, crazy. I do want to bring up this one quick by Jack Kenna. He says, Richie, salute, brother. He says, question, do we trust Richie to draft for our Broncos?
Ooh.
You know what?
Very
Jack,
complex question, Jack.
It's not for me. It's not for me. As a former co-host to Rich, he and I were co-hosts together on Broncos Talk several years ago. And I love him to death. I trust him. I would definitely trust him. So there it is, y'all. The Broncos pick Walter Nolan for the Orange and Blue Network Premium Round Mock Draft 2025. The Broncos have selected Walter Nolan, defensive tackle, Ole Miss, with the 20th overall pick. Caleb Johnson, the running back out of Iowa, with the 51st overall pick. And at 85th overall, the Broncos selected Terrence Ferguson, tight end out of Oregon. I wanted to say that there was a way to get a grade on the draft, but no, maybe not.
I would be incredibly happy with that draft.
I would too, actually.
I'd be great with that. That is an ideal 3-slot round draft right now for us in positional sense. Great.
Yes. On me personally, I'd prefer, at the end of the day, I would have preferred Travion Henderson to Caleb Johnson.
Okay.
But if we were able to stand pat at 20, 51, and 85, no trades, no movement, and get these three guys, shoot, that is a successful draft, and that is a cherry on the top of the offseason the Broncos have already had.
Let me say this, though, Johnny. If we're looking at these three players, we really like these players, but the positions that they represent, even if in Nolan's situation, the Broncos brass thought Harmon was better, who was on the board that we could have selected.
We could have had Harmon.
In Johnson's case, even if they select Judkins and they think he's the guy, and that's just who they scouted, and that's what the Georgias, we're ready to go. Or Ferguson, same thing. We had tight ends on the board that we could have went a different route. Like
we could have gone a different way either way.
There were tight ends to have other than Ferguson. No matter who they select, I will trust them because they have track record of doing this right. But these,
like I said at the beginning, in Payton's, we trust.
But these positions are perfect in my eyes. This would be a great setup for the Broncos, regardless of the player. If we just went these three positions, that's exactly what I would hope for.
Yes.
I don't know. That's ideal to me.
I love it. I would be very okay with this draft, honestly.
Yep.
If this is how the draft fell, I would be
Agreed.
very, very okay with it, and in no way would I be upset.
Agreed.
So there it is, guys. That concludes the mock drafting the mock draft for the Orange and Blue Network before the draft in 2 freaking days, baby. I'm going to pull up one last comment here from Mr. Jack Kenna, who says, remember, guys, tomorrow on the Wild Wild West podcast on MHRT Network, an all AFC West draft. Do not miss that. That is going to be something exciting and something very special. I feel like we did a good draft tonight, Jay. I'm actually very happy with what we did.
We had a lot of really good discussions about situational draft analysis. You never know where we're going to end up. Trade up, trade down. That'll change the discussion. But, without trades, and that was the premise of the mock, I feel like we came out really well. I would be so happy with that.
I would, too. I mean, it's the draft, man. A lot of it just falls the way that it falls, and you just kind of have to trust the process. And
ask yourself a question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
I mean, it's a gamble. I mean,
a lot of it's a gamble.
In playing Keno, you never know.
I feel like you and I were on a very similar, thought process and wavelength tonight, and I feel like that we absolutely killed it.
I am the smartest man alive!
I will tell you, though, Johnny, I did realize that the draft was only 2 days away today, and I made sure to double-check my renter's insurance, because if we draft Cam Scatabo, I will probably just burn it all down.
And, of course, you'll be with me live on Thursday, right?
I will, yeah.
All right, and guys, that's what we're gonna hammer on hard real quick before we get out of here. Of course, don't forget to check out our other awesome shows. Broncos Talk tomorrow night at 6 Mountain, and then of course Viva Los Broncos for our Spanish-speaking brethren on Fridays at 6 p.m. Mountain. But it's still up in the air whether or not we're going to do a live draft show on Friday as well, because Thursday, for the first round of the draft, Orange and Blue Network will be live. Multiple hosts, multiple guys, all sitting here watching the draft with you live, chatting about it, laughing, having a good time, freaking out when our guys fall off the board. It's going to be an absolute blast. And if, God forbid, not God forbid, but if we drop back to the second round, let's say, make a trade backwards and end up in the second round instead of any picks in the first, it is very likely that on Friday there will be another live draft show so that we can be there for when the Broncos make their first 2025 pick.
I was going to say, if we trade out, I guarantee I will be on Friday night. But if we stick in it, we'll see. But
we'll see. All right. So with that being said, guys, this has been the Nothing Rhymes Orange and Blue podcast on the Orange and Blue Network and the MHRT Network for draft week. Love it. Guys, if you have not already, please like, subscribe, share, and comment on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Check out the audio version of all of our podcasts wherever you find your favorites. And go over to our sister network, our partner in crime, the MHRT Network. Like, subscribe, share, and comment on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and even on Instagram. We thank you guys for joining us tonight. This has been an absolute blast. I am so thankful that you were here with us tonight, and we cannot wait to see you on Thursday for the live Orange and Blue Network draft show. All right, with that being said, guys, I'm Johnny Baki, the Mile High Viking, joined by my cousin Jay, the Dreamweaver. Guys, we thank you for being with us. We will see you Thursday for the draft. We are out of here. Go Broncos, baby!
Orange and blue, we're here for you. Talking Broncos all day through. No stopping us, we're on the loose. Come join the crew, no bad news. Podcast vibes so fresh and true. Nothing rhymes with orange and blue. Catching up on all that we knew. He played, episodes accrue. Nothing rhymes.